Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of December 23rd, 2020. We're almost at Christmas, but comic books are still coming out, and they're going to come out next week as well. But let's get into it for what's coming out this week, right before Christmas. First up, we have Action Comics number 1028. This is the variant cover because I can't stand getting the John Romita Jr. covers. It's Bendis has been doing okay with it. It's hard to read because of the art. It's hard. Next up, we have Batman Superman number 15. We got some Solomon Grundy going on in this, so I can't wait to see what's up with that. Solomon Grundy's always an interesting character to see how writers use him and what kind of story he's in. I've seen a couple Solomon Grundy stories that I really enjoy. I can't recall exactly what they are, but yeah. And the train's going by. Next up, we have Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn number 3. If you like the Curse of the White Knight or White Knight, you should be checking this out. It's really good. Sean Murphy's Batman universe is actually a really solid universe, and I cannot recommend it high enough. Next up, we have Black Adam Endless Winter Special, and this is part 8 of the Endless Winter stuff. So if you're reading it, you want to make sure you pick up this bad boy. Endless Winter's been okay. I've been enjoying it. It touches in a book, or it's in a special, and the chapters are clearly defined. So yeah, there's not too much outside of it that is, there's not like a ton of other stuff that you have to get. It's kind of just boom, 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 grab each chapter. So yeah, it's an interesting story. I'm curious to see where they go and how they finish it up. I like the history behind the story. It delves into kind of the older stuff that goes on in the DC universe, much like Demon Knights did. Next up, we have Dark Knight's Death Metal, The Secret Origin. And yes, that's Superboy Prime. And yes, I can't stand that character. Okay, I'll read it. I'll get through it. I'll read it. I'll get through it. Okay. Next up, we have James Tyrion IV, The Department of Truth, number 4. This book's been very, very good. I'm not a huge fan of the art style, but it's at least something I can read and enjoy, and the art style fits the story, so it doesn't. My dislike of the art style doesn't take away from the story, and the story adds to the art style, so I don't hate it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Department of Truth, pretty good. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 1033. We're just chugging away at the Detective Comics stuff. I know pretty soon Tomasi is going to be off Detective Comics, and Takashi, whatever. The ladies doing Wonder Woman's going to pick it up. I'm horrible with those like names. I'm just horrible, period. I'm a horrible person. Next up, we have a big boy this week, and that's the final issue of Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino's Gideon Falls. This one is pretty thick. It's a $7.99 book. It's very thick, and it's the end of Gideon Falls. So for those of you who have enjoyed Gideon Falls, the last issue, so it's kind of a somber feeling, but I can't wait to dive in to see where the story ends up. And it's been really good, so if you haven't checked it out, you should. Next up, we have Justice League Dark. This is Endless Winter Part 7, so you want to read this before you read the Black Adam special. But yeah, more Endless Winter stuff. I'm curious to see, again, where the story's going. The backstory to it is really good and really in-depth, so I'm really curious to see how they continue with it. Next up, we have Oblivion Song number 29. I don't know what's going on with Oblivion Song. There's some weird time jump stuff that's going on. I don't know if like I missed reading a book or something, but there's something going on with Oblivion Song, and I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, it's still good. I'm just not sure I understand how the story got to where it is currently in the last handful of issues. So next up is another Robert Kirkman one, and that's Outcast number 47. I'm not sure what the last issue of this is going to be, but I've enjoyed Outcast. It's definitely a slow burn book, but a very good book. So if you have not yet checked it out, I do recommend going back and picking up the trades. It is an interesting concept. And yeah. Next up, we have Red Hood, number 52. Yeah, gonna dive into Red Hood a little bit more. I think Red Hood's going away. The DC solicitations came out for March, and Red Hood was not on there. So I think it's done. We'll see. This run has been okay overall. I enjoyed it at the beginning. There was a little in the middle. Some of it got a little bit better. The stuff with the kids and the other team just kind of turned me off completely. But I kept going. And overall, it's not bad. Next up is Redneck number 29. I've been saying 29 a lot today. But yeah, Donny Cates' Redneck is just really great. And yeah, it's just, if you like vampire stories, check it out. I said it was like the hick version of American Vampire, and it really just does an amazing job of kind of giving you this southern rural redneck vampire type stuff, and it's good. I enjoy it. Next up is number 13 of this series, and it's by James Tynion IV, and that's Something Is Killing the Children, issue 13. Really great series. This series has been chugging along. Great stuff from Something Is Killing the Children. Funny enough, earlier this week on Monday when I was working, I got a call and some guy was going, do you have early issues of Something Is Killing the Children? And we actually got a run from a customer back in, but of course all of them went up to the wall because they're all really expensive now. And I told the guy about, we have like 2 and like a variant for 2, and we had like 3 through 9 or 3 through 8 or something, or even 10. I don't remember what it went to. He's like, oh, and he got all excited and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, he's like, can I pay for them over the phone? Is there a website? I'm like, well, they're not on our website because they're wall books. He's like, well, what is a wall book? And I'm like, they're books on our wall, so they're back issues, so they're priced higher. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like number 2 is like $40. Number 3 is like $8. And I started listening up, and he's like, oh, never mind. I was like, okay. I always find it funny when people are trying to get in on something to make money, and then are disappointed that they're not going to get a deal calling a comic book store for early issues of something that a comic book store would know was worth something. But hey, that's just one of the weird phone calls. Yeah, there's a ton of them. Next up is one for my son, and that's Star Wars Adventures: A Smuggler's Run by Greg Rucka. So if you're a Rucka fan, check this out. Rucka's done a handful of stuff in the Star Wars universe that I would recommend checking out in the books and comics and all that stuff. So yeah, Star Wars, fun stuff. Next up is Undiscovered Country number 11. Charles Soule and Scott Snyder's Image book is really good. It's starting to pick up. I've liked the second story arc better than the first story arc, but I'm curious to see where this ends up going. So who knows? And finally, we have Wonder Woman number 769, and she goes up against Liar Liar again. So yeah, what can I say? Tamaki, she's gonna be writing detective. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's good stuff. Max Willard's in it. Yeah, really fun stuff. Oh, and there's one more, and that's the reason why I forgot was because it has been so long. Exo Man of War number 3 is finally out. 2 came out last month, and finally now 3 is coming out. So we get to see where this Exo Man of War series takes us. It is set in, like, they relaunched and then have had a couple volumes, and it's subsequently the next volume. So yeah, it's good. I've enjoyed it. So variant covers. So first up we have Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn. Snagged the variant for number 3. The one everyone's going to be trying to track down, and that's Dark Knight's Death Metal: The Secret Origin. This is the Gary Frank, old school Justice League, Justice Society, like old school costume, I think it's pre-crisis stuff. This is the connecting variant. The weird thing about this, though, and it's just it's just me kind of it's not nitpicking, but it's kind of wondering why they did this. This is this one is Staples, normal comic. It's oversized Staples. The previous one was actually a glue binding one, so it's actually a little thicker. So I'm not sure why they deviated from that version of putting it out. So yeah, I'm not too sure, and I'm not sure how that's gonna, lay out when you lay them all out together. I think they just need to release a nice high-res version so everyone can have it as at least an option on their wallpaper on their computer. And as usual, Gideon Falls has a variant, and this is the Jeff Lemire variant for Gideon Falls 27, so I snagged that one up. I like the Endless Winter one for Justice League Dark number 29. A lot of 29s, I noticed, yeah. Red Hood 52 had a pretty cool cover, so I snagged that one up. And of course, Wonder Woman had an amazing cover, so I had to pick that up as well. And it being the holidays, let me get to the next one, yeah. I did pick up a graphic novel. It's something that I read only in graphic novel form, but I've been enjoying it for the most part. And that's Animosity, Volume 6. This is King of Texas. Marjorie Bennett does a really good job with this. I enjoy it every time I read it. What if animals became sentient and they could communicate, and they were, what would they do in retaliation against humans is one of the biggest things they would probably do. At your local shop, you might be able to snag, if your store got them, the Marvel calendar is out. It's kind of boring this year. It's not anything grandiose. There's a bunch of ads, but if you like Fantastic Four, definitely pick it up because it's all old school Fantastic Four. It's like Fantastic Four through the ages, and it gets like earlier and earlier as you go. So free calendar. I grab 2 no matter what, because I'm just like, I just want a calendar hanging up so I can go, oh, what's the day, instead of randomly picking up my phone and looking at it 24 hours a day. So if you want, pick up your 2021 calendar. It might not be the best calendar, but it's the calendar we get. And finally, I was talking about Christmas. Lane, one of our customers and podcast guests occasionally, amazing artist and overall cool guy. Every year he gets us Christmas presents, and we normally open them on the podcast, or we have like a trading thing going on. But this year with COVID, we're not able to do that. But he did get us all gifts still, and so he got me mine, and I opened it up last night, and he went above and beyond with this. I didn't even know this was out. But yeah, he definitely, thank you very much, Lane, for this. And that's Harley Quinn's Villain of the Year, the J. Scott Campbell signed variant. And yeah, there's even a certificate of authenticity for it. But yeah, he snagged that up for me. Thank you, Lane. It's much appreciated. Like, this is one of the things, like, I'm not always able to grab those exclusive covers and stuff like that. So it's one of those random things that, like, if people who know me will, like, oh, I can probably get that, and he'll most likely not have gotten it. Funny enough, this year, my daughter was like, Daddy, I can't get you any Christmas presents because I don't know where to go find those hardcovers that you want for those books that you only have trade paperbacks for. And she's referring to the Michael Connelly books that I've read. I have a majority of my collection of Michael Connelly novels is now hardcover. I've read most of his work. I think there's only like 1 book or 2 books I haven't read. But those are like the nonfiction ones. But the Harry Bosch and the Renee, the new one, the new detective, the FBI agent, I can't remember the name. But like, I've read all of those books. And when I started, I would get the little paperbacks, right? The small ones that are like you just shove in your pocket, right? And so when I transitioned to the hardcovers, and I started buying those. That's all I've bought since. And so normally a Michael Connelly novel comes out, and I get it when it comes out. But I don't have hardcovers of those older books. And so my daughter was referring to her getting those for me because she knows it's things I don't have. So that's kind of what you have to look for when you're shopping for somebody like me, who's a comic book geek, who gets pretty much almost everything they want. It's either something that's way overpriced, or we just haven't spent the time to search for something, or something just didn't pop up on our radar. That's why a lot of times I don't get a lot of Funko Pops, just because I know people will randomly buy me a Harley Quinn one that they figure I don't have, and yeah, that's normally the case. So yeah, that's it for this week. But please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you want, leave your comments down in the comment section just below there. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're picking up. Happy holidays to everybody. Let me, leave your questions there, all that stuff. It's great. Keep it nice. Comment sections normally can be really toxic, and we don't need that here. You can listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode 480. So many. We're inching towards 10 years we've been doing this podcast, which is a milestone when you think about it. So I take a little bit of pride when I go, yep, I've been podcasting for 10 years. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like only yesterday that I was, talking about New 52 and Rebirth and all of the Marvel movies and Star Wars, and it just went really quick. But you can listen to the new episode. There'll be a link in the description below. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees and getting products. So thank you very much to all of our Patreon backers. It helps out more than you will ever know. And it is much, much appreciated. You can help me out a little more directly if you click on any of the Amazon links here or at conspiratorbrock.com. And any of that will get me a little bit of Amazon money eventually that will formulate in this gift card that's digital and put into my account. So thank you for those that do that. You can also head over to my eBay page. I've been putting a couple things up recently. I haven't done a lot. I need to, hopefully during the winter break, organize my comic book collection and put everything together. I have so many boxes of red stuff that needs to go into the big collection, and I need to purge out stuff from the big collection and the stuff I've read, so that I can not just have more space, but just have a collection that's more in line of what I really want versus having just stuff I've gotten over the years. So head over to the eBay page to see what I'm getting rid of, and maybe you'll want what I don't anymore. Who knows? I'm also saw all the random stuff that I end up getting or whatever. You can't follow me on Twitter right now. I'm still blocked. I need to send my weekly email to their Twitter support, which is non-existent, about still being suspended for something that was not violent or a threat towards anyone in particular. Algorithms suck, and auto blocking is a horrible, horrible thing, especially when your support network, or there's no support. Like, Twitter doesn't care. Like, that's basically what they're telling. And I know you can say I'm making an account, but that's too much work. I had that other account for 8 years, and I don't really want to go back and refollow all those people, and who knows? Maybe I'll be reinstated in the new year. So it's the end. So I'm done. All that stuff. I did want to give you guys an update on the D&D progress. We have had our second session. We got out of the ambush that they were in, and they followed a trail to a hideout in a cave, and they dealt with some traps, and we've learned a lot of stuff along the way. They basically went the quickest way to finish the next part of the starter set campaign. which is fine. It's one of those things where as a DM, you just realize that you can prepare, but you're the party's gonna go where the party's gonna go. My son's character almost died. He got down to like 1 health, or no, he got zeroed, and then he had to get roll to be revived. And luckily, I was sprinkling healing potions in when they were looting characters, so they were able to save my son's character. Yeah, so he's still playing and he's still happy. They're still super excited to keep going with it. They've had a really good time in the second one. I think they're starting to get more comfortable with the format. I just have to brush up on the next part of the campaign. They still have some stuff to finish in this area, so I have some time. But we are taking a 2-week break from it just because it's the holiday season. It's going to be chaotic anyway. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's just tons of stuff, and I just don't want to have a D&D session in the middle of those and not be prepared for it. So I'm taking the 2 weeks like kind of as a break for me, so I can sit down and take notes and read and do all that fun stuff and over prepare for it. So, but I'm having fun. It's a good time. So, speaking of other things that are going to be a good time, Christmas. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday, and I hope that you are able to watch Wonder Woman 1984 because I'm going to be watching it on Friday night, Christmas night, without my kids because they're going to spend the night with Grandma, and I'm going to watch it by myself, which is normally how I watch these movies. I get to see it in the theater, like in midnight release before my kids, and it's kind of to preview it so I make sure there's nothing bad in it that they can't understand. Because my daughter's super excited for it. She can't wait until we watch it, and we're most likely going to watch that together on Saturday. So there will be a review at least on the Comics Conspiracy podcast next week. Episode 481 will be our Wonder Woman 1984 review. And so you can check that out there. If I have time, maybe I'll do a review here for you guys. It's quick and easy and all that stuff. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, like all Festivus, like whatever. Just happy. Hope everybody stays safe. Everybody is, surrounded by family and love. And for those that are affected by what's going on, I do hope for the best and quick recoveries, and for anybody who is suffering with it, we are here. Hopefully we can ease the suffering and make the world a better place. But as usual, I'll see you.